Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back in the video today, and today the Denver Broncos beat the Kansas City Chiefs, and the streak is over. The Chiefs, who had 16 straight wins over the Denver Broncos and had not lost to the Denver Broncos since 2015. I think it was mid-September of 2015. The Chiefs, who had won 16 straight over the Broncos, and Mahomes had never lost to the Denver Broncos, never lost a divisional game on the road, was 16-0, and had never lost a game to a team at least 2 games under 500, was 25-0. And also, Patrick Mahomes. If any of you are fantasy, if you're not, it's fine if you don't play fantasy football, but a lot of you do. But Patrick Mahomes, since he's been in the NFL since, he's been in the NFL since the 2017 season. But I will say, no one really had him in fantasy football until 2018, the 2018 season, because he wasn't a starter in 2017. But since Mahomes has been the Chiefs starter since the 2018 season, Patrick Mahomes had his worst ever fantasy football performance. With 7 fantasy points. Threw for 241 passing yards, but threw 2 interceptions. Russell Wilson didn't even do that great. Their run game which was dominant with Javonte Williams and their other running backs. Their run game was dominant, and their defense was great. That's what led them in this game. Russ did throw 3 touchdown passes, but he only threw for 114 passing yards. It's not terrible because he only completed 12 passes and only threw it 19 times. But the Broncos get the win. That's their second straight win. They're 3-5 now. Do the Broncos have some life now with this win? I know their next game is the Buffalo Bills. That's going to be a hard matchup, but any given Sunday, look, they just beat the freaking Chiefs by 15 points. Then the next week, the Minnesota Vikings. I know the Vikings are playing good football right now, but they're without Kirk Cousins for the season. He just tore his Achilles, so I don't know. Let's see how the Broncos do over these next couple weeks. The last 2 games, they've have 2 wins over the Kansas City Chiefs and the Green Bay Packers. They're looking better. So we'll see. With this win, is this going to cause the Broncos not to sell? Because everybody was talking about, the Broncos are going into a major fire sale going into Tuesday's trade deadline. But now 3-5, 2 wins in a row. Are you still going to fire sale and trade some of your players, some of your best players? I don't know. The Broncos have some decisions to make this week, early this week on Tuesday when the trade deadline nears. All right, let's go over the scoring summary in this game. First quarter, 2 scores. Javonte Williams had a 4-yard touchdown reception from Russell Wilson at 7-0. Then Harrison Butker with a 23-yard field goal at 7-3. Then second quarter, Jerry Jeudy has an 11-yard reception for a touchdown from Russell Wilson. It's 14-3. Then Harrison Butker with a 34-yard field goal and then a 56-yard field goal going to halftime. It's 14-9 at halftime. No scores in the third quarter, and then 2 scores in the fourth quarter, both for the Broncos. Russell Wilson throws a 6-yard touchdown pass to Cortland Sutton. It's 21-9, and 31 seconds remaining. Will Lutz has a 28-yard field goal, 24-9 final score. All right, game leaders. Patrick Mahomes, 24 for 38, 241 passing yards, 2 interceptions. Russell Wilson, 12 for 19, 114 passing yards, 3 passing touchdowns. Rushing yards, Isaiah Pacheco, 8 carries, 40 rushing yards. Rushing yards for the Broncos, Javonte Williams, 27 carries, 85 rushing yards. Receiving yards, Travis Kelce, 6 receptions for 58 receiving yards. And then for the Broncos, 2 receptions for 50 receiving yards and 1 touchdown. And then getting into some other stats for the Chiefs and the Broncos. Like I said, they definitely had some other, sources in the run game. Jaleel McLaughlin with 4 carries for 33 rushing yards. Russ ran the ball 8 times for 30 yards. Samaje Perine had 5 yards. So this Broncos team, they were dominant in the run game. 40 carries for 153 rushing yards, with their longest run being 15 yards for Javonte Williams. And then for the Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes ran for 20 yards. Travis Kelce, for your information, Taylor Swift did not attend this game. I got to say, I've been watching probably almost every one of the Chiefs games this season. I don't think there's a Chiefs game this season that I haven't watched. I'm pretty sure. I'm not even a Chiefs fan. I just, they're always on. That's what happens when when you win the Super Bowl. But they're always on like when that's the game that I have to watch, and that's available on TV. And I also have Travis Kelce in fantasy as well. Well, really, I can watch any game I want because I have Sunday Ticket. But Travis Kelce, I've watched him this year as a fantasy owner and as a football fan. He's been great. But guess who wasn't there? Taylor Swift. And also, it made the game feel a little different. Watching this game, I was watching this game, I was like, something feels different. And I was like, oh yeah, they're not showing Taylor Swift 100 times every hour. That's what made me realize. I mean, it felt different watching the Kansas City Chiefs and Taylor wasn't there. But Travis didn't look as good without his supposed girlfriend there. 6 receptions for 58 receiving yards. And he still had the most receiving yards from both teams, but at the same time, the Broncos were not very active on the receiving end. And Rashee Rice, actually, you could probably say Rashee Rice had a better game than Travis Kelce. Kelce had more receiving yards, but Kelce had 6 receptions for 58 receiving yards and 9 targets, while Rice had 4 receptions for 56 receiving yards and 5 targets for the Chiefs. He's a rookie. He's looked great for them. Justin Watson also had 2 receptions for 42 receiving yards. Also, Courtland Sutton had 2 receptions for 29 receiving yards and 1 touchdown. All right, fumbles, you got a lot of them. You have 2 for the Broncos, 3 for the Chiefs. So the Broncos, Russell fumbled twice for the Broncos. He only lost one of them. One of them was recovered by a offensive lineman, I believe, Drew Sanders. And then the Chiefs, the fumble by Russell Wilson was recovered by Willie Gay, a defensive player, and then McCole Hardman fumbled. I don't know who was recovered, but McCole Hardman Jr. fumbled, lost it. Patrick Mahomes fumbled, lost it. And the 2 players to recover fumbles on the defense for the Broncos were Justin Simmons and Jonathan Cooper. All right, Broncos for their defense. Their leader in defense, you have defensive stats. Alex Singleton, 7 tackles, 1 tackle for loss. And also, Jaquan McKillen had 6 tackles. They had total 3 sacks, 2 sacks for Braun Browning, and a half a sack for Zach Allen, and a half a sack for Jonathan Cooper. And then they had a total of 6 tackles for loss. The Chiefs did have 6 sacks, though. Their defense didn't look bad. They recovered a fumble, and they had 6 sacks. Their defense had 18 points in fantasy. 2.5 sacks for George Karlaftis, half a sack for Charles Omenihu, 1 sack for Leo Canal, 1 sack for Drew Tranquil, 1 sack for Mike Dana, and that was it. So then they had 7 tackles for loss as well. So yeah, that's the video. If you guys enjoyed, let me know your thoughts on the game, and peace out.